Welcome to the Smart Property Investment Show, the podcast by investors for investors.
How's it going? It's Phil Tarrant here, host of the Smart Property Investment Show. I hope you're well, wherever you're tuning into this. At the moment, I actually had to go to the dentist the other day, and when I don't want to have to deal with this, so I actually listened to a podcast while I was doing it, which actually supplemented some of the drilling noises. So it's funny where you listen to podcasts. I must admit, I wasn't listening to this podcast. There is much better podcasts out there than this, but I listen to a lot of sort of history and current affairs podcasts. But it's funny where people tune in the podcast, and as a medium, it's very effective because you get to choose when you want to spend some time with someone. So thank you for everyone who is tuning in, choosing to take some time to listen to me drone on. I've got a small cold at the moment, so I probably sound a lot more nasally than I normally do. And do yourself a favour, someone showed it to me once. Listen to me in half speed and you'll have a good chuckle as well. Sounds like I've been drinking too much, maybe you could say. But that's not the case. I'm here to talk about property and property investment. Speaking to people who are property investors, doing really cool stuff, and it's what we enjoy here and what we like to get stuck into. Today's guest, we're looking forward. He's travelled here, which is cool. Back in the day, COVID, everything went onto the Zoom, and I always lamented that because I always thought it was much getting people into the studio. You have much better conversation, much better dialogue. So Max Jennings has made the trip up from sunny old Radelaide. He's a property acquisitions analyst, InvestorKit buyers agency, but that's what he does now, but he was a property investor long before that, and I want to have a chat to him today around that. But pick his brain on one key thing, and that's really sort of how you go about securing off-market properties, which everyone sort of talks about, often a lot harder to get done than what you think. But I want to have a chat with him also about being a property investor. Max, how you going?
Yeah, good, Phil, thanks.
All the way from Adelaide?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, God.
It was cold when I left, so
I bet you it was.
It's going to be cold when I get back too.
It gets hot in Adelaide, though, in the summer, right?
It's dry.
Yeah.
It's just, it's very different.
Where in Adelaide are you?
Up in Aberfoyle Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I know where that is. Do you get out and about of Adelaide much? And
Like as interstate or?
No, just like out into the... There's not much.
There's not. It's not a great
There's a lot
deal.
of desert, right? You know.
Nah. There's stuff to do. It's just a bit more low key than other states.
Yeah, you live in Adelaide. How much do you hear around what's going on in the defence world with all that? There's a lot of people employed by defence companies down there, right?
Yeah, a little bit's going on, but not a great deal.
It's not that
I'm
visible?
on the other end of the state. Like, yeah, they're up a bit more north.
Yeah. Okay.
So we don't hear a great deal, but there definitely is there. Yeah.
So you come out all the way just for this podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think also you were chatting with, or you met up with Arjun Paliwell yesterday, who I guess you call him your boss, would you? He's the gaffer.
Mentor, boss, yeah.
Yeah. How's he getting on? I know he's sort of been off the air for a little while. I've got to catch up with him. He's doing well.
Yeah, he's doing really well. So we're walking around the Blue Mountains yesterday, like you're saying, and, to go from, hard operation and all that to then walking around, that's really good.
Have you been to Blue Mountains before?
Never.
No, wow.
Never.
Where'd you go?
Just
the Three Sisters?
Yeah, Three Sisters did all that stuff. Went on the cable rides and all that sort of stuff.
Is that scenic railway still there? Is it still as sketchy as what it is? That's
probably still sketchy as in it goes straight incline. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. It's a nice part of the world. Did you guys look at any property while you're up there? You're not buying in Katoomba or Wentworth Falls or Lithgow or any place like that?
Nah. So no? I'm all SA.
Okay.
I don't think we're doing too much acquisition in Sydney at the moment, but yeah.
Okay, well, trying to get it now. So you work at InvestorKit now. Mm-hmm. So you've chosen. So you're a property acquisitions analyst, which means you find and buy property.
Yeah, correct.
I'm trying to simplify things. Yeah. Okay. So you're a buyer's agent, property strategist, right? And how long have you been doing that for now?
Since April this year.
Okay, so relatively new.
Yeah.
To it. You enjoyed it?
Yeah, very much so. Dream come true. Because when I was doing that, I was only I was 21 years old. That's to go from I think we'll go into it a little bit as well, but department manager at Macca's, to jump from that to InvestorKit was incredible. Dream come true.
And it's an important point because I'd say 22 is pretty young to be, and this is a compliment, by the way.
Yeah.
It's probably pretty young to be doing what you're doing in a professional sense. However, you are a property investor.
Yeah.
It's just not like you didn't rock up one day and just go, I'm going to be a buyer's agent and I don't own any property. You've actually invested in property yourself from a young age. So I want to kick off there. So you're at Macca's, were you?
Yeah.
So you don't earn a lot of money at Macca's when you're younger.
No, so like it's interesting because you don't really perceive McDonald's to have a lot of property people involved in it. But I remember when I was first hired at Macca's at 14, the person who interviewed me had like bought their own home, and she was only like 18.
God.
So like kind of puts into perspective, okay, this actually is possible from day one. And even when you go look at the head office kind of stuff, people have a lot of property. It's, because McDonald's is real estate, really.
It's
that's
real
what they
estate
do.
business,
So, I think it kind of has that backing already for a lot of the people who do well. Did that for about 7 years in total.
So you worked at Macca's for 7 years.
Yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it. A lot of good foundational stuff that still is benefiting me today, like a lot of skills. They have awesome training. So definitely can't knock them at all. They're wicked. They did really well.
Yeah, and I know a lot of professional people who have all worked at Macca's, and they go through sort of the management regime, and there's like a McDonald's university. You go to the McDonald's University?
I did go to the Hamburger University in New South Wales. That's the country head office.
That's the one up on Penner Hills Road, right? By memory, is that it?
That's the is it Thornley? I think?
Thornley, yeah. So
I'm trying to remember New South Wales locations, and that's
so it's called the Hamburger University, right?
Yeah, they've got I think 8 of them in the world now. So yeah.
And what do they teach you about? Sort of systems and processes?
Yeah, like systems, processes, and all that kind of stuff. So very, like you can get similar things from certain conferences, but like they just mush it into one.
Yeah, and I imagine there's a lot of commonalities with the rigor and the systems and the processes and the sequence of property buying is very similar to what you do in Macca's, right? Like to build a Big Mac, you got to do it in sequence, right?
Yeah. There's a process and there's a system, and deviation from the system's not good. Like you want to find best practice to do things and just follow that.
So you've done every job at Macca's then?
I would have done all of them. Yeah.
Okay. And did you used to do from 14?
Yeah, from 14 till 21, up in April. This year.
Yeah, so it was a career for you.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, like that's what I mean. I can't knock it at all. It gave me a lot of good foundational stuff. I'm still relying on today. All those skills built up. I did managing for 3 years in a department capacity, so I was doing like human resources and like managing. So
you do
people.
A lot of hiring,
firing, training, and all that kind of stuff. Rostering as well. I did. And
at how old? Ordering. 18, 19 years
that
old.
That was 18, 19, 20.
That's crazy.
21 as well.
So if I rocked up at the Macca's where you were working on a Friday night, you'd be there running the whole.
Oh, not a Friday. I had Thursdays and Fridays off.
Thursdays and Fridays. So a Saturday night, right?
Yeah, Saturday.
Probably one of the busiest
nights. The weekend
nights.
You could find me every time.
Yeah, time and a half or probably double time,
yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Make it lucrative.
So on a Saturday night, how many people would be at a Macca's that you would have been responsible for?
Like, as in like actual staff?
Staff there on the day?
Yeah, so like in a 3-hour period, maybe 20.
Okay.
So, but that would be a rotating. So like, as you get into later period, you'd expect it to get lower.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I worked on a roster for the whole restaurant of about 200 crew.
Yeah, 200 people.
Yeah, so you'd have to roster all of them and that.
God.
Yeah, if I set hours and meeting budgets and KPIs and stuff like that.
And was there a system to the rostering or you just sort of...
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, there's systems there where I've looked at it now and I do InvestorKit stuff and it's just following a system. And we've got really good systems in both. Like when I was at Macca's, awesome systems. InvestorKit, even better systems for property.
So can I ask you how much you were earning at the peak of your Macca's career?
Yeah, so it would have been about 75,000, that. And that's like, I think that would include bonuses as well. Yeah. But that was casual capacity, so it was very like
as a manager.
Yeah, that's income capped though. Like if you go to restaurant manager, you go to a full time and then you slightly earn less, but you get more bonuses. I think that's kind of how it works there.
So what would a manager of a Macca's make?
About like depends on how hard they work really. Like, like if you're doing heaps of overtime, you could probably get to what I'm doing.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not a bad salary,
no,
but it's
definitely.
not.
It got me 4 properties.
Yeah. So this is the point. So you're able to buy 4 properties.
Yeah.
Working at Macca's.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
living at home with your parents.
Yeah, but I pay a fifth of outgoing. So it's like if I moved out with mates, it'd be the same thing. So
you pay a fifth of the family outgoings.
Yeah.
Okay. You still live at home?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I haven't moved out yet.
That's all right. And so you pay fifth of the outgoings.
Yeah.
So like food.
Yeah.
Power.
So mum's really good at budgeting, and that's kind of where like foundationally I came from as well. I was lucky to have that, really strong parent who's going to go, okay, this is how you budget, Max. Showed me all that when I was 14, did all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I've just carried that on, and that's how, when I have my income come in each month now as a salary, I just budget that straight away the same way I did when I was at Macca's. So it's not like lifestyle inflation's kicking in.
No. Okay, so tell us about these properties that you bought. What was the first one you purchased?
Yeah, so the first one I got was like a residential property, 3-bed, 1 bath. I think I got it for, this was back in 3 years ago, so things were a bit cheaper back then, but 195.
In Adelaide, obviously.
Yeah, in SA, so regional SA I was looking in. And that was mainly due to the income, like serviceability stuff. Couldn't have got something in Adelaide, but the growth percentage is what I was looking at. So basically I got that one, and then I used about 49,000 because I had 60,000 saved.
Yeah.
And then I had a bit of cash left over, more savings. So about, I think maybe 9 or 10 months later, maybe even 12, something around that mark, because it was 19 when I got the second one. That was 185, so I got a bit of a better discount on that one. That was a corner block, so I was quite happy with that one.
Whereabouts?
Regional SA again. So all of them are regional. All of them will be regional SA.
Yeah, okay.
At least for those 4 anyway. The next ones will be different maybe. But another residential 3-bed, 1 bath. The rental yields, the gross ones, were about 8%. So regional, you're going to get a higher yield.
So they're
on
all
those
sort
ones.
of positively.
They were back then. Interest rates have kind of kicked
Shame.
me in the teeth a little bit, but they're very close to neutrally geared.
Okay.
So it's not too bad.
Yeah.
And then the commercial ones, same kind of thing. 8%. I think actually the first one was a 9% yield, and the second commercial one was a 8.5% yield.
So even with interest rates, they'd be positively geared because all the outgoings are covered by the tenant.
100%.
I would imagine. Yeah. And
definitely.
what were they like? Warehouses or?
So dual shop fronts for both. The first tenant, it was like a retail shop front, but it was tenanted by a air conditioning specialist.
Okay.
So they just tenant both sides. So I got like the extra bit of income from that. They're there for 5 years, plus I think an extra optional term, whatever it is. And then the second one, they've got... So I bought that one. It was kind of like they've only got 1 year leases, so that was a discount on that.
Yep.
Got that. So the first, commercial was 210, and then the next one was 410.
Okay.
The 410 one, they only had 1 year left on each lease on both sides of the property. One side's an optometrist, one side's a travel agent. So I extended the travel agent one in a lease renewal to go to 6 years now. So that's added value there.
Yeah.
It's a bit of security on the income. And then the optometrist is going to leave eventually, and then I'll just get a new tenant, get a longer lease, and add some more value that way as well.
It's like on a high street in some regional town.
It's the best commercial street in the town. So really strategic location as well.
Yeah, you're not going to tell me where it is though.
No.
Okay, yeah. So you're a bit cagey there. So is it still good buying in these areas where you've got these assets?
I think now that already got 4. There's kind of that like diversity piece where I kind of want to move out of areas just in case.
Are these all clustered the same area? Or
yeah. And it's because I had a lot of success there, and I probably will still. Like, I'm not too concerned at all. It's more so there's other areas which are just as successful, and it's not like I'm on McDonald's income anymore, so I can actually kind of go for a nicer thing now.
So you're earning more than what you were at McDonald's.
Definitely more than 75, but you earn that as well.
Yeah.
Like, you work hard for that.
Oh, I bet you do. And I know Arjun runs a pretty tight shop.
Yeah.
Which is good, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So you're thinking about buying again soon?
Yeah, buy another commercial, definitely.
So you reckon you're commercial all the way now?
Probably. I like the cash flow. That's really for me. Not to say I wouldn't do resi. I think there's opportunity in resi, just not personally for my portfolio at the moment. It's all about optimizing it, because it's kind of like what my portfolio goals are. I want to be able to at least have the income to then, okay, cool, now the whole portfolio is positive.
Yeah.
Now we can take on another negative geared one.
Yeah, okay.
Then
So what's your long-term
negative.
plans then with property? Like, you've started so young, you've probably got...
We got a wide scope for it.
4 decades of work ahead of you.
Well, the 2 commercials will pay off in 1.9 years.
1.9 years.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Well, we're putting extra repayments into them. So
From the positive cash flow?
yeah, and our own income as well. So we'll just smash those ones out. My brother and I will just get them done.
Yeah.
We did a JV on both of those ones. That's how we got that extra deposit needed for those
So
ones.
you just pay them off and there'll be free cash flow, and you might use that to redeploy somewhere else.
Yeah,
or just...
and there's like a risk element to it as well for serviceability. Like if we have commercial and residential debt, a bit different. So just free up that side for myself, because like my brother's not going to probably do another. He'll do another commercial, just not any like resi stuff.
Yeah, okay.
So he'll leave that and just keep doing them with me. He's like a silent partner.
So you get on with your brother then?
Very much so. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have like legal agreements and all that sort of stuff, or it's just like no, you'd be right. You trust each other.
Mum would kill us, so that's a legal agreement enough. Do you know what I mean?
What's your parents reckon
about all the stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, they love it. They're really proud.
Cool?
Yeah, very proud.
Yeah, I imagine they would be. Have you got more property than them, or are they property investors?
No, so mum and dad only have the just the single home.
Yeah.
Not to say they wouldn't ever invest. I think now that they've seen me have success in it, they'd be like, Max, get us something. But not yet.
Would you buy your parents a property, an investment property?
Yeah, if they wanted to.
Do you look after them?
Yeah. But it depends. Like, they're not at that stage yet. They're very much inclined to pay off their house first, get it ready for retirement.
How old are your parents?
40, 50, something like that.
Yeah. So they're still young. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that's cool. Well, it's good, and horses of courses. It's good to see you guys out there giving it a red hot crack. So, were you influenced by the people you're working at Macca's to go invest in property? You saw other people doing it. Like, where the catalyst for this idea of property investment?
A little bit. From? Like, I saw there was possibility. No one kind of at my age had the same portfolio. Like, that wasn't seen on my level. A couple of people in head office had some paid off properties, so I just heard of them. I didn't really know too much about them. But it was all residential stuff. So I just really liked making my money work hard and make money.
Yeah.
I liked that idea. So as soon as when I was 14, I started getting compound interest. That was a catalytic moment for me.
Yeah.
I saw, okay, awesome. My money's making money. How can we just make a better percentage, more return? And so, eventually that rolled into me reading lots of books, lots of podcasts and everything. So even SPI.
Yeah.
A bit of everything, you know what I mean? And then, it just built me up over time to have some confidence to do a resi. And then, from there, resi, commercial.
There you go. And you'll keep that. Well, what's your view on the Reddit? And you only need to sort of look at your social media and there'll be some moaning Gen Z or Gen Z or whatever, complaining about it's impossible to buy a prop in Australia, it's unfair, the boomers have wrecked it. I'm not a boomer, by the way, I'm a Gen Xer. But, it's impossible, it's hard, the Australian dream is dead, you can't buy property anymore, we're priced out forever, woe is me. Yeah. And then you've gone and by 22 years old, you've got 4 properties.
I think exceptional people will do exceptional things.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're kind of just doing the bare minimum to get away with life, you're probably not going to get much done. And that's not in a mean way. I mean that like in a very genuine way. Like, if you're not going to overachieve, you're not going to get better results.
Yeah.
So if your life is just going to uni, getting a degree, and then going into a job for the next, 60 years, well, you're not going to get much more than what you are expecting. So I think I've had a couple chat with a few mates, and HEX is kind of a thing that limits people very early on.
Yeah.
Like in a sense, like I never went to uni. I did a TAFE thing, hated it. That was financial, like accounting and stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely hated that. Did the real estate thing after when I was 21 because I was like, okay, cool. After a podcast with Todd Sloan, I was like, I can kind of consider real estate. I have an exit strategy there.
Yeah.
But InvestorKit hadn't come across my horizon yet. So that was just, I enjoyed that because I already liked real estate. But in terms of like where people's net wealth goes when they turn 18 is often it's negative.
Yeah.
And so it hurts them from the moment they start. So I think that shift, if it was, because I didn't have that, I didn't take any uni debt or anything, no debt at all, other than the properties. So that's like credit cards, anything like that, nothing. So my net wealth has always been positive, whereas a lot of young people, the vast majority, will be negative. And I think that really hurts them long term.
Yeah, and I think one of the issues is a lot of younger people subscribe into the idea that the natural pathway is university.
Yeah.
And go to university and then you're going to get some white-collar job, and most of them hate it because they want work-life balance, right? Like, what the dream of what people subscribe into, the reality of it is something that's very different sometimes. And you see that happening time and time again. I do note that HEX can be a huge handbrake for people to save money.
Yeah.
Or it's a stall, right?
Yeah.
It could take a long time to clear that debt.
But time's money.
Time is money, right?
Like the property market hasn't stopped in that time.
No.
Like now it's more expensive, and the deposit you're making, your income's like almost either like you're doing part-time work or it's zero the whole 4 years. So it's a very different perspective. Like, you need doctors, you need all these people to go to university still, but I think some of the degrees people are taking perhaps aren't giving them the income
unnecessary
they need.
a lot of the time, and I know there's a lot of smarter people than me trying to work all this out, but also got to be accountable and responsible for your decision making, right? If you go down a pathway of going to university and then you do a year, you didn't really like it, so you drop out, well, you still got the HEX debt. You do a year at doing a particular course, and you go, I don't like that anymore, I'll change course. So you end up doing 5 years as an undergraduate at university. You got $100,000 HEX debt, and then they cry poor and say, woe is me, I subscribed into this. I was promised that this is the way forward, and therefore I can't buy property. Like, I think you're a case study that it can be done, and there are ways of doing it.
We only limit ourselves, right? Like
on a pretty average salary, right?
Yeah, it's possible. That's the whole thing. Like banks
absolutely
want to give
possible.
you money.
Yeah. Banks do want to give you money,
Yeah.
and might mean that you can't go to Europe. Imagine you're a massive saver. You're a huge saver. You used to save
like
you would
90%
know,
of my income.
So you would have known where every dollar would have been going.
Oh,
I would
definitely.
imagine. I
Yeah.
could tell
like,
by you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas other people are like, well, I want to travel to Europe in my 20s and I want to go to all the festivals. I'm like, that's all fine. And I always say, my view, people always ask me all the time, you go and do that stuff. Like, you can't have both, though.
I did have both. Like, I enjoyed everything because I just budgeted for it.
Yeah.
Like, divide the expense by 52 weeks, put that away each week.
Yeah.
Now you can have fun, but it's delayed fun.
It's delayed fun.
Like, I went skydiving. I went shark cage diving.
Yeah.
I've done, like, all the Sydney stuff as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Done cruises and stuff. Like, it's fun, but it's a different kind of fun. You don't have to be so expensive with it.
You've got to make your choice. And one of the things I do acknowledge HEX is a problem. And I've spoken to a lot of politicians around this, and I know some of them tune into this or policymakers. I think there is something in helping younger people get their HEX debts removed through incentivising their parents to pay it off.
Okay.
I think there's certainly policy opportunity there. Is like imagine this. Imagine if parents got a small tax deduction through paying off their kids' HEX debts.
Yeah, okay.
That would change the status quo very, very quickly for a lot of people. Anyway, I'll leave that to our policymakers up there to think about that. Going to have a chat with me. I've modelled it and I think it works pretty well. Welcome back, Phil Tarrant, Smart Property Investment with Max Jennings, property acquisition analyst over at InvestorKit, and Arjun Paliwal. Be remiss of me not to remind everyone that he would tell me this, that 2 years in a row is the buyer's agency of the year.
Correct.
There you go, Arjun.
Soon to be
into this.
3.
Oh, is that what he reckons? All right, wow. I don't know.
We're doing all the things to get there.
Really?
3's fun. You know?
Okay, well,
3 times a charm.
There's a lot of really good buyer's agencies out there right now. Obviously,
good
Arjun.
competition, but that makes it fun.
Okay.
It makes it worthwhile.
Well, there we go, Arjun. You just mate, give it a red hot crack. I know he'll be at it. But so tell me about your last day at Macca's.
So last day at Macca's, I think I was working 8 to 4, and it was kind of two emotions. I was feeling kind of sad, kind of happy as well, because I knew what I was walking into as well. I was like, oh, I get to go to InvestorKit after this. Did a bit of research on him. I was like, this is cool. This is
So you got the job while you were working at Macca's?
Yeah. So I had to give like my 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
I think,
whatever it is, yeah.
But I had a lot to look forward to as well. So it's not like it was a sad thing. I was very happy to move because I had a really good time as well. I was like, when I walk in there sometimes now for like a chai latte, because that's what I drink. Yeah. I'll be like, oh, kind of miss doing it. Yeah, nostalgia. Yeah, that's normally what it is.
You've done your shift 7 years at Macca's. So what was the last thing you did at Macca's working?
I think I tried to do one of everything.
Yeah.
Before
Did you actually go and flip a burger and do a thick shake? And did everyone know it was your last day?
Yeah, everyone. Yeah. So I said, bye to every single crew person who was there, and I said, look, best of luck with whatever you guys do. I think you'll do great. I was probably one of the nicer managers, so I was just very genuine to all my crew because I appreciate all of them. So
So, but I'm sure you can help them all out getting properties at some point.
Well, they know who to ask.
But you never. So you finished Macca's one day, started InvestorKit the next day, or did you have a weekend?
I think it was it may have been like 4 days because it was kind of like I was on the Sunday that I had my last shift. Yeah. Saturday, sorry. Saturday I had a last shift, and then like Tuesday I think I flew out to Arjun's house.
Okay. So up to Sydney and for your first day.
Yeah.
And the first day was good?
Yeah, really good. Yeah. First day it was just the Q1 event, so mostly looking on the results that I didn't help achieve in the last 3 months. But it was nice to meet everyone in person because it's working from home. So you don't. If I had started and just didn't know everyone, it would kind of been a bit weird. But it was nice to be good timing,
And then everyone got together and swapped notes, and you found out where everyone was buying and what they were buying and all that. So it's pretty collaborative.
Very. Yeah. Like even when we're not together, we're getting phone calls from each other just about deals we're doing and all this and that. And it's a very, very, very good team culture. Arjun's literally handpicked all of us to be the best team.
Yeah, well, he's doing well.
Yeah.
2 years in a row as buyer's agency. Whether he'll get through, I just don't know. But a big thing of what buyer's agents do, or probably acquisitions analysts, is finding off-market properties. Do you have a view on off-market? Do you believe in this notion of off-market? What's your definition of off-market?
So off-market, if it's not advertised online, that's off-market. You can have pre-market where it's before it goes online.
Yeah.
But essentially someone's paying for marketing if they put something online. That's an on market.
Yep.
Essentially, if they don't do that, then that's off market. So like lots of people may know about an off market. That's fine, or pre market, right? But it's who knows about it as well. Generally, off market, you'll have more intense competition because the people who know they're of a higher caliber. Whereas the on market, you can get any Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Yeah.
So it's kind of there's pros and cons to both. Off market, at least the competition is very generally qualified.
Yeah.
So you know they're serious or not.
Yeah, and a lot of real estate agents be part of their sort of sales cycle will be to try and do off-market sales, right? They would, if they could sell a property quickly through a network without having to market it like that, that benefets everyone, right?
Yeah, definitely. They still get to slap their face on the signboard and everything.
Yeah, they put it up and they put it on there. But so sort of key strategies for securing off markets, and it's tough, right? There's a lot of people playing in this space right now, but you reckon sort of purchasing ugly ducklings is a good way?
Because those are the normal ones that aren't going to go on market. Generally, like there was this deal we had in Adelaide very recently. We secured this one just direct to vendor. So there was no agent involved. So there's no one really like negotiating really heavily back to me on their half. But we gave them a fair deal still. So we've done our CMA on our end. We see value at 550, got it done for 550. In the suburb, we're seeing things on a similar street for like 800,000. Okay. But this property, if you put it online, no way you'd be able to sell it to like on market and get a good price at all.
Yeah.
You'd waste your marketing essentially. The amount of repairs you'd have to do as well, it wouldn't even pass a pest and building.
Yeah.
So that's why off market it's going to be sold still, and they're still keen to sell it. Right, they've paid it off over 30 years or whatever it might be, and so now it's cash flow positive for that vendor. But they're trying to retire.
Yeah,
so sometimes retirees are a really good off-market strategy as well.
So how did you get this opportunity? How did you find the place?
Yeah, so just basic, like what we do every day is we do connects to agents, and we do like agents know people and those people know people. So I was just very fortunate that this person had made contact with another agent, and that agent, they were aware that, okay, they didn't want to go on market or do anything, but they were just happy to have it direct to vendor. Yeah.
And do you have to spend some dough on it, like to fix it up?
Yeah, so about 30,000 our client will be looking to spend, and we'll project manage that for them as well.
Okay.
So we know guys down in Adelaide who'll get that done for them.
Yeah.
And pretty good rates and everything, which will make it cheaper.
And imagine if this person took this to sale through a real estate agent. The real estate agent would have said, well, you got to do this,
exactly.
this,
it's inconvenient.
And in order to list it, to sell it, and it's still not guaranteed. So they sell a little bit cheaper without having to spend that dough. That means they move it faster.
Definitely.
And the incumbency on the reno sits with the buyer, and they just factor that into their price because agents don't like selling.
No, they like
cosmetically challenged properties,
cosmetically challenged,
yes. They'll typically go, you need to paint it, so they can get a bigger price, right?
Well, also it's like a brand image thing as well. Like if they're selling really run down things, it's not great for their brand image. Like it's like those luxury real estate agents. Like they always look really pristine. They have a good image.
Yeah.
Agents are trying to get to that as well. So a lot of that stuff goes off market. So good buying and good opportunities generally.
So even an agent, they might not have the listing, but they go, go and have a look at that. We don't want the listing. But
in this case, it was.
Yeah.
It was just a good situation for my buyer and good situation for the vendor as well.
Yeah.
So we were able to just get that done off
market. So how about the deal? So has this deal just taken place, has it?
Yeah, so it's not unconditional just yet, but contracts are signed and everything. So it's just a time thing really now.
Yeah. And what would be the plan? Spend 30 odd grand renoing it and then revalue it?
Yeah, pretty much. So we'd be looking probably to sell that one again because he wants to just turn that cash straight away.
He's going to flip it.
Yeah, pretty much. So he's a good client. He's very keen to get that done because he wants to just expand his portfolio, and that will be a real good equity play for him just to, use that cash.
Is he buying his personal name? Is he?
Entity. So he's doing entity on that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Like
because there's obviously tax and stuff
thing.
and all that sort of stuff. But so is there a lot of ugly ducklings out there?
Yeah, definitely. Like you just have to ask for them though as well.
Yeah.
Like if you're asking, because most people want the good stuff. They want the creme de la creme.
Yeah.
But not everyone needs that as well. Like investors, you got to make money somehow as well. Like there has to be an opportunity. But also this one is like balancing risk as well. We took a calculated risk. We did our due diligence, like it passed all the 21 points. So that's why we're like, okay, you know what? Even if we do this, it's still good.
So securing off markets, again, something which a lot of people seek for. And you see it's all over. It's a big thing on the internet, like I found this off-market stuff. Like that, you can actually track them down. Requires quite a lot of work. You reckon you got to be really tight with your communication.
Definitely. And you got to be confident with it too.
Yeah.
like when you speak to them, you have to know what you want very distinctly. So you need to have like 5 key points on what your property has to be. For us, we're looking for like generally 3-bed, 1-bath or more, certain land sizes, this, that. And look, sometimes you don't want to say the word off market as well because they don't like that. But if you just kind of beat around the bush a little bit, like, hey, can I have a sneak peek and see if you have something that's pre-market or something like this, then they're more inclined to offer those kind of things as well. Also, from a like buyer's agent point of view, we're transacting more properties than anyone's going to buy in their lifetime generally.
Yeah.
So we have a frequency of purchasing that shows we're serious as well. So the normal person might not have that when they go to look for that. But because I've done lots of deals with some of my agents, we'll go.
They know you're genuine.
Yeah.
So typically you have a buyer with pre-approval and mortgage, and when you say we'll buy it at this, they know the deal's going to happen. Like, because agents want to move quickly to the next deal, right? They don't want to be holding properties on their books a long time. They want to shift it. Like, they get paid when stuff gets sold.
That's right.
So they want to move it as quickly as possible. So they know working with yourself or a buyer's agent that there's a lot more confidence in the deal.
100%. Because we convey that to them as well.
Yeah.
Like, even if my client's still getting finance, like, I'm still going to say, you know what? This guy, he's so qualified for it because we know they are. It's not a lie, but we convey it well because we've done it lots of times. There's a frequency and a repetition of what we've done that we're confident.
Do you pack out your contracts with a lot of terms and conditions and outside of the standard stuff? Yeah, okay.
Depends on the deals. So
what selling through buyer's agent where they want to get off market stuff, I often just go, I just don't want to do it. It's too hard. Like they want this condition, this condition, this condition. I'm not going to get stuff. I'll just sell it straight to someone else. I won't ask for the same thing, right? It's good if they're acting on your behalf, but by selling through or a buyer's agent involved, it can actually be a little bit more complicated.
Yeah, like normally, but that's good to know what the vendor wants too, right?
Yeah.
Like there's tit for tat in it. You have to know what the other party wants because it's kind of like a psychological thing too when you go to buy.
Yeah.
You want to know, okay, we need a win-win, but really in a deal you should both walk away really unhappy because then you know you've won. Like, they got what, oh, damn, I didn't get a good price and damn, like that win-win. And if we can kind of teeter it a little bit more towards our end, that's perfect. So sometimes finance, like, that can just be pretty standard. Most people are quite accepting of that, at least in SA anyway.
Finance clauses. What about sort of pest and building stuff? Do you always negotiate on pest and building?
Depends.
Yeah.
Like, largely depends. Like, if it's major issues, I mean, you're either going to walk away or you get it fixed. It's pretty simple. Minor stuff, there's going to be minor stuff when you tenant the property anyway. It depends really how minor is minor as well. Like, there's a gradient of minor to major.
Yeah. And often if you find major stuff, that can actually be a really good negotiation tool. So
definitely. Like, you might be able to get a cash reduction. You might be able to get it fixed even, stuff like that as well.
So sort of securing off markets, I guess the third point, do you fish in big ponds? Like, do you sort of connect at bulk with agents seeing what they've got? Like, how do you go about doing that at a tactical level?
We send out a bulk email on Tuesdays. That's normally the easiest time for agents to respond.
To all agents?
All agents that we have. Because what we want to see is who bites.
Yeah.
Normally the ones who bite, they're the ones we want to deal with as well.
Okay.
And we respond to each of them, every single one, no matter what they have, even if we don't like what they have. We're like, okay, cool, thanks for giving me that one. Have you got anything like this?
Yeah.
Compare it to something we know they've done previously. Because we want to build the relationship, even if they're a cold agent. So cold means that we haven't bought anything from them before. We're only getting to know them. No relationship yet. With a warm agent, we already dealt with them a little bit, but no deal's done. Or they're in the same agency as someone we've done deals with.
Yeah, okay.
Hot agents, we've done deals. We're very frequently transacting with them because they've got good stuff. In the emails, normally the hot agents aren't too responsive because they know we're going to phone them anyway.
Yeah. So
sometimes we even just avoid them out of the email. But with the cold ones, that's who we're trying to target to turn to warm.
So you do it at bulk, being sort of one of the third key strategies for doing it. And then it's really the fourth sort of aspect of this then is being able to delineate between cold, warm and hot agents and knowing when to strike and move quickly.
Definitely. Yeah, because you have to have a very accurate CRM as well.
Yeah.
You have to know.
And doing this on a weekly basis, I imagine there is the cadence of change that would warrant doing that on a weekly basis, right? Because stuff lands on their desk all the time.
It's because stuff is being bought, sold, and they taking new appraisals, this, that. And that's what we do as well with the bulk email. Like, we can say, hey, I've got this many buyers who are looking for this, or I have a very specific buyer who's really urgent. They might be moving international and then their finance will look bad. Yeah. So they want to do it now. And we can kind of convey that to them, a sense of urgency you need to start letter dropping right now to get some properties for this guy. So we can help them in that sense. We've done that. A lot of my agents, I do that. I say some ideas or here and they'll use our marketing kind of like like kind of marketing like that.
Yeah.
They'll take a couple key ideas, put it on their thing, and say, "Oh, I've got buyers agents looking for this." And you know what? We're getting stock from that, and it's guaranteed to us because we've helped them. It's a reciprocal relationship.
Well, that's about sort of how do you actually nurture those relationships with agents, particularly when there's probably a whole bunch of other buyers agents trying to do the same thing. So why would an agent choose to work with you as a buyer's agent versus someone else, right?
Yeah.
There's sort of trust and equity in a relationship.
It is. Like, you have to be a good person, honest, ethical, all those things as well. But we're getting deals done with them, so they know we're serious, because what's the result if they don't do that for us? Yeah. We're going to walk away and find someone else. We've got the whole market to play with. They've only got us.
Yeah.
So we have a huge pool of buyers available for them to access and tap into. We have other agents.
Yeah.
Like, buyers agents are not as big in number as the selling agents, I'll say that.
Yeah, and again, it comes down to how well you nurture it. And it takes time, energy, and effort. And I always say you can go out there and do this yourself, but when you've got someone out there doing some full-time job, connecting with agents, trying to find off markets, they're
it's at our scale as well.
At your scale, like, an agent's going to work with you over an individual person who might buy one property, right?
Yeah.
You're just not going to get access to the stock, right? And one of the benefits of using a buyer's agent. Welcome back, Phil Tarrant, Smart Property Investment with Max Jennings from InvestorKit. Now, this is an important one, the sort of fifth strategy for securing off market. You got to work hard at it, right? These things just don't land on your lap. What of the stock that you guys are transacting, how much of it would be off market?
Yeah, 63% in the last quarter's average.
Okay.
So a fair bit. and that's kind of
So you
off-market
secure
is
more
off-market.
off market than on market.
Yeah. Because that's we want to reduce the market's competition at large, right?
Yeah.
We're not trying to pay the highest price possible. Our intention is to get the lowest price possible. So we want to be away from as much competition as possible. And also, that's some of the best buying as well. Like I've said, return on investment as well. Like the one we've talked about today, the 551. There's some renos we can do, 30K, lift that value up. There's going to be some good equity there as well.
So to buy off market, you're assuming that there's got to be some hairs on the property in some way. It's either got to have that the tenants are underpaying, or
that's a common one.
It's a lot of work that's required, or there's always got to be something, because a really good real estate agent would say, don't sell this off market. There's got to be some distress for someone to do it off market.
And
You're not going to be
as well.
selling. Or sometimes people want privacy.
That's right. That's the weird one I'm talking about. They like privacy.
They don't want to know. But if someone's selling an investment property, they don't really care. It's if they're selling their, say a distressed sale for an owner-occupier property where they don't want their neighbours to know that they have to sell.
Yeah, or they have nosy family members who are going to walk through all the open homes, or people they don't want to know about it.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with an off-market. Like, it's someone still selling it, so if it can be sold, it has to still pass its pest and building and all that kind of stuff. So it's not like you're buying broken stuff, but it does need a little bit of TLC. And that's true for any property. You can go to the nicest property to get a pest and building report. Most of the time, there'll be some minor issue. That's true for every property.
Yeah, and really good agents would rather, if they can shift something quickly, if it's a bit, how's it going? Like, they'll do it off market, but like premium properties, they think they can get, depending on market conditions, a lot of the time they'll take it to either auction or a private treaty sale.
You see SA behaving a lot like that, actually, at the moment. There's a lot of auction stuff. It's turning it. A lot of it was private treaty maybe 2 years ago even. But now it's starting to move into that kind of auction, like all the eastern states kind of do a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Because now that market's becoming like, we can get some good prices, especially CBD stuff. I mean, they've always done auction there anyway. But when you look at the 40% reduction in stock in Adelaide as well, like off market, you don't want to go to auction and pay top dollar for your buyer's agent. So you're going to look for some good deals as well for your clients.
You want to capture it beforehand. However, if with stock low and a good agent, if he's got a couple of different buyers agents in his pocket, he'll rev it up and go, no, we're taking it to auction.
And if that happens, that happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes the finance will fall through when they do that deal. Yeah. So then we get another opportunity. I've had that happen before with other clients. So
yeah, I've sold stuff where someone's bought it at auction and then don't proceed, and then you go, well, yeah, you mentally sold it. You got to shift it quickly so you can get it out to a buyer's agent. You can still get deals done.
Because otherwise your vendor's going to be very mad if you haven't got the sale.
Yeah. So you got to work hard at this though. Like these things just don't land in lap.
Yeah.
So how much of your time would be spent trying to find off-market properties?
Like I would say 48 hours of the week easily. Like we're spending a substantial amount of time. Like I think in terms of like actual dials we're doing on a weekly basis as a team, I think it's 1,000 dials a week.
Wow.
Of that, the connects, I think the ratio's maybe 20% of that actually becomes some real from there. Because agents are busy as well. They're busy people. They're working. So it's a balancing act of, yes, we're trying to contact them, but sometimes they're coming back with text, sometimes email, sometimes it's delayed as well. Yeah. From that, we got to qualify them as well. So it's all well and good to source these off markets, but if none of them pass the 21 points of due diligence, what's the point of even having them?
Yeah.
So we've got to do that as well.
So you've got to put a lot of energy and effort even to your point, your 21 points of due diligence, right? You've got to see a lot of properties. Most of them probably don't stack up, right?
It's going to be, sometimes it's the area as well. So like if an area is really flooding, like inundation and all that sort of stuff, I mean, everything there is going to fail. So there's some pros and cons to certain areas, but everywhere things change over time as well. There might be a property on that street that's not affected by anything, and you really want that one. Yeah, So it's an exhaustive list, but it's to protect the client. Like we want to make sure it's a good asset for the long term as well. It's not going to cause issues. So do you wish you're still back at Macca's, or are you happy to do what you're doing now? Oh my God, no! Like I've had a taste of what's possible with InvestorKit, and I would never change. Look, I'm here for the long term. So this is it. I love it. It's buyer's so good. Agent. InvestorKit buyer's agent. I love it. Yeah,
that's good. It's good to hear, Max. And are you enjoying honing your craft?
Yeah. Well, obviously, I was really passionate about real estate, so it's really cool to go from McDonald's, where something like there's no passion in making a Big Mac. There is for some people out there, but it gets boring quick after 7 years. But buying real estate, I could do that till I die. You know? I love it.
What's the different? What's your go-to Macca's meal?
Chai latte.
Chai latte. Yeah. So you've had enough of Macca's. You could never eat it again. No, hate the smell of it. No.
As a manager, you could have 3 McDonald's. So it's like that got boring real quick.
Did you not eat McDonald's?
You'd have a little bit here and there, but it's kind of like when I think chefs do it, where they just kind of little picking bits. Yeah. That's sort of how it happened. Like you just take a little thing back to the office and go.
What's the best quality thing at Macca's, you reckon? They used to say it was a fillet of fish, right? Not going to go there. He went to Macca's.
I'd say chai latte.
He went to the Hamburger University and they taught him how to answer those sort of questions. But that's good, Max. It sounds like you found your calling, mate.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, best of luck with it all, and I'm sure people can track you down if people want to have a chat with you. Buying in Adelaide, InvestorKit's best place to find you.
Yeah, InvestorKit. I'm Max Jennings as well, so on Facebook, on Instagram, all that kind of stuff as well. Even my email, max.jennings@investorkit.com.au. It's
pretty easy.
Yeah.
All right, nice one. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Remember to check out smartpropertyinvestment.com.au, Smart Property HQ, or Smart Property Investment. You can find us as well on all the social media channels. Please keep those reviews coming. Really cool. Team really appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Until then, bye-bye.
The information featured in this podcast is general in nature and does not take into consideration your financial situation or individual needs and should not be relied upon. Before making any investment, insurance, tax, property or financial planning decision, you should consult a licensed professional who can advise whether your decision is appropriate for you. Guests appearing on this podcast may have a commercial relationship with the companies mentioned.